Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. You see the website right there. Residential or commercial, emergency one-stop jobs, or preventative treatment scheduled throughout the year. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, they protect my home from vermin and varmints, and I'm not just talking about the guys on the set. They can take care of your home too. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right. Want to bring in the next wave of panelists we have right here. VFL Sterling Hinton with a smile on his face, although you didn't walk in with a smile on your face, and VFL Daniel Hood right there. I did have a question last night. We will be reading your mean tweets a little later in the show. We'll also, next segment, we're going to diagnose the 10 biggest issues for the disappointing season. But I had somebody last night say, surely Sterling can't be positive. I said, well, we got a lot of different guys on the show, everybody with different opinions. And then someone did add in how you might be positive, saying the bus didn't crash on the way to the stadium. Trevor Daniel was awesome. Locker room didn't catch on fire. So there were some positives to be taken from last night. Sterling, let me ask you, we'll just start with it. What's the real Tennessee team? And is it the team that blitzed at times Florida, Georgia, A&M, Virginia Tech? Or is it the team that, when I did the math last night, for the most part, you played 8 hours of football. You've trailed for 5 of those hours. You've trailed entire games. You haven't led since Georgia. Which is the real team?
Well, in my opinion, and this is just how I see it, it's the team that doesn't give up. Even yesterday, it didn't give up. They tried to fight in the fourth quarter. Will said earlier, that attitude in the beginning of the game, but not coming out with the fire, can hurt us. Well, still, they did not give up. We were in a position to get a chance to win, and that's what you saw yesterday in the fourth quarter.
Daniel, which is the real Tennessee team?
I'm going to put my line in the sand at Florida. And I think before the Florida game, they're the team that was the better team. They went out there and beat every single person in the second half. After that game, they're just struggling to even hang into the games or to put a win from Georgia to Texas A&M to Alabama. So I think they're both, but I think the line in the sand was at Florida, and right now they're on the back end of that.
Jimmy, one of the things, you did a radio show this morning, you probably heard this, I know it's online everywhere, and that is Appy State, if Jalen Hurd doesn't fall on a fumble, if you don't get a Hail Mary at Georgia. Now, my problem with that line of thinking, Bill Parcells used to say, you are what your record says you are. If I'm not going to let somebody say last year, you lost 4 games, but you were 1 play away from this win and that win and this one, I'm also not going to go with somebody who says, yeah, but you're 1 play away from losing here and there. You are what you are. Still, this team has been behind most of these games. They shouldn't have been. What's the real UT in your version? Is it the team that's got the star power when they're all on the field, or is it the team that struggles?
It's a team that struggles, and the reason I think that is because just look at the first quarter. Tennessee in the first quarter, they jumped ahead of Ohio, and other than that, they have not come out ready to play, or they've started slow in basically every game they've played. They've been outscored by a ton of points in the first quarter. Why they come out slow like that, I don't know. It wasn't a problem a year ago, but your stat about the 5 hours, man, I think that says a lot. But and a lot of this is attributed to injuries. Look, this team is not what I thought it was going to be when you take away a lot of the pieces to the puzzle. But because they cannot get off to fast starts, because they don't come out of the box swinging, I think it's the team that's behind most of the time.
David, sorry.
I'd put it this way: in Alabama, a really good football team can have a bad game. But they're still going to be a really good football team. You could have the worst team in the FBS show out one day and win a big one. They're still the worst team in the FBS. We haven't seen that full, complete game from this Tennessee team. So who are they? Well, they are who like you said, who we've seen. And unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case. We said earlier in the year, hey, all they need is that one complete game, and they'll take off from there. And they still haven't shown it. We're through getting into the majority of the year here. I don't think we're going to see much different.
Right, and we've all said it to some extent that none of these are going to be big layups down the street. I mean, how many times we pointed out that Will's 2001 team that went 11-2 had to beat a 2-9 Kentucky team 38-35. We knew they were going to be. Manning had to squeak by Vanderbilt year after year. Great teams can struggle in November against bad teams. But to come out and lose, it ties back to the fact that you struggled so mightily against Appy State and Ohio. That's what I keep going back to when I looked at South Carolina and Vanderbilt specifically. Now you might want to look at Kentucky. But when I looked at those teams, I kept thinking, how much different are they from Appy State and Ohio, who you were healthy with and you struggle with? How much of this can be put on the injuries, Sterling?
Well, first of all,
Don't say all of it.
No, I'm not going to say all of it. I was going to say a lot of it. A lot of it can really be put on injuries because you got a lot of people that are hurt in key positions in groups that play in concert. In concert, you got an offensive line that people have played so many different positions and they can never get that continuity. They have to play in concert. You got linebackers that are hurt. They have to play in concert and have continuity. So unfortunately, you get people thinking and not reacting and having that continuity as their teammate in the position that they play together.
How much can be blamed on team chemistry? Every team's different. And just because you're a Euro, it doesn't mean you can have 90% of the same players, but your chemistry is
Right.
different. How much of this is on chemistry and attitude?
I think it's a good amount, especially with the offensive line, and I think David can testify to it. I think we didn't start our 5 best guys for whatever reason to start the season, and so from that point, we've just been behind the 8 ball trying to get a group together to play together. And I think when you messed up game 1, it's gotten really hard to try to get it right in game 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. All right. Those are 2 issues. Injuries is an issue. Chemistry and attitude is an issue. We got 8 other issues that I grabbed from Twitter last night, or that I believe are real issues. We put them on the board. We're going to whittle that list from 10 to 4, and then later on, we'll see if your really ugly, mean tweet makes the show. Come on back on the Sports Source.